Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're doing well as I always do. This is weekly chat episode, well, the weekly live chat I should say, episode number 38. As always guys, this video is sponsored by by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website, where you can purchase retro kits from the 60s all the way through to the early 2000s, as you can see from the icon that's up here, along with Admiral and Umbro Clout and Blue track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts, so go check those out. Any purchases made through the link in the description below, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, I'll be sending directly through to Iron Supporting Food Banks, the charity within the Newham area that are helping those that are within the Newham area that are reliant on food banks. So yep guys, everything seems up and rock and rolls. Only 2 people watching, but for those 2 that are watching, welcome. It's always good to see you. As you can see here, we've got the football scores going on live as it's confirmed at the minute. So Yusuf, welcome mate. Please tell me what's funny about the preview, because you put ha 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 in the comment section and then didn't answer my comment. Are you just trolling me once again? It's not appreciated in any shape or form. Kent, good evening mate, hope you're alright. But as I say, it's but yeah guys, so as I say, there's only a few of us here, which is understandable because there's football going on tonight. But as you can see from the icon here, this little image down here, I've got the half-time, I've got the scores going on as it stands at the minute. So it's a 0-0 against Everton and Wolves. Which the second half is literally just kicked off by the looks of it. Newcastle are leading Sheffield United 1-0. Spurs are losing 2-1 to Aston Villa at home, and Palace are literally just kicked off now to Arsenal. I'm Tony, I'm very well. Ben, good evening, hope you're right mate. Lisa says nothing was funny. Then why put it up? Just mate, you've really got to sort yourself out. If West Ham lost, it would make sense. Well, why would it make sense? But we'll come to that in a minute. First and foremost, guys, as Kent would have reminded everybody this morning, and more specifically, yeah, that audio issue's gone now. It's weird. And more specifically today. You would have seen it as well, that today is the 9th anniversary of when we played when we beat Blackpool in the playoffs in 2012. Really cool. Really, it's honestly, I can't believe it's been that long already. 9 years today. 9 years today that we came back to the Premier League. It's unreal. Monumental date timing, possibly. But that's the way things are when it comes to football. It really is. Really is the way things are. And of course, not only that, but of course, today is also the anniversary of this, when we won the Cup Winners' Cup in 1965. So everything coming together seems to be quite nicely coming together. That is in a way the 2 very important anniversaries on the same day, on the penultimate game of the West Ham season, when we're trying to push ourselves into secure our place in the top 6 or top 7, bearing in mind obviously where things are at the minute. Nick says, "Swire evening lads, hope for a side Benrahma to start." We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that when the team sheet comes out, guys. But as I say, and Yusuf says you came back 9 years ago. Top 6. That's incredible. It is, mate. It's weird. It's just how strange things are getting. How strange things are at the moment when it comes to football, and how it is every other year. But yes, it's been 9 years to the day, literally to the day. In actual fact, we were all celebrating this time, and exactly this time 9 years ago. It was at 7 o'clock. It was unreal. But of course, as I said, also the 1965 Cup Winners' Cup anniversary as well, when we won at Wembley as well. So some very monumental, hopefully good omens for today. You know, there's obviously, that's obviously the best of them, of course, but at the same point, guys, you know, it's unbelievable. So guys, come on, give me your thoughts. Come on, Kent, I know you're typing away, bless you. Tony, let us know what you're thinking on the monumental days of today. Nick is not paying attention to the conversation, so we'll just ignore what he's saying for now, because it would be nice to have people to engage with what we're talking about. Yusuf says, is this the first West Ham first weekly chat where there's been a West Ham game on the same day? No, it isn't, mate. This is the third or fourth over the last 12 months now, if I remember correctly, because I used to do these on a daily basis. But of course, the watch along is gonna for the West Brom away game is gonna be straight after this broadcast. So stick around, guys. But yeah, it's about the third or fourth, I think now, if I remember correctly, mate. Third or fourth. So yeah, okay. So nobody's really conversing. But other than Youssef, as usual. Which is fine, not a problem. Now, this is a question, and Yusuf, I'm glad you're in here, because I know, as I say, I know you were talking about. Kent says, I remember being on the phone for 3 hours trying to get his ticket. It drove him mad for the playoff final. Absolutely. Well, I'm guessing so, mate, because you were too young for the 65 Cup. But also, for that matter, where are we? First proper topic of the day: preview watch times. Yusuf, I'm glad you're involved in this, because as I said, this conversation, because as I said, I know you were you watched some of the previews and you do make comments, albeit asinine ones. But guys, I genuinely want to get your information on this. Either the ones that are in the chat now or the ones that are watching the replay of this. I genuinely want to know why you guys aren't watching the full videos. The majority of these previews, people are only watching a third of it. Is it because I overload the start with I mean, it's a preview at the end of the day. I preview who the referees are going to be, what happened with our opposition's last game. I talk about the previous fixture. I talk about their injuries. I talk about our injuries. I talk about our game. I talk about things that I think that are relevant to the game at the same point. I talk about the other team's formation. Genuinely want to understand from you guys why nobody's watching at least 50%. So please, by all means, either let me know in the chat now or in the replay to let me know why that you guys aren't watching it to at least the West Ham stuff. Yeah, I mean, as I say, for example, the West Brom preview, 12 minutes, average watch time 4 minutes and 6 seconds. That's literally a third of the time that video's up. I'm not having a go at you guys. I'm genuinely asking why you aren't watching these videos through to conclusion. You know, I know, because it's a preview at the end of the day. It's like I give as much information as you possibly can. You know, Luke does as well. Luke acknowledges it was very nice of him to put out on his previous video that to go and watch my channel and subscribe because of the amount of hard work that I put in for the content I do. And I put a lot of effort into this, and I genuinely want to find out why you guys aren't watching this through to the conclusion. I really want to. As I say, I'm not arguing with you in any shape or form because because you're my audience and I want to know. I generally want to know on that. So guys, try not being so what's the word? Self-absorbed when it comes to this. Because I'm asking you, because as I say, you guys are my audience, and I want to know the information as to why you guys aren't watching them through to conclusion. Yusuf, you haven't even answered that yet. But anyway, so why is my comment coming up? Possibly because I was being trolled by somebody who was just being a dick for the sake of it, so I deleted his comments, and that might be why it's on there. Kent said that's why it's not on there anymore, as I say, because I hid the user from the channel, so all the comments disappear as well. So it might be that. Kent says, to be honest, JP, I've never watched your previews. I will give it a gander in future. Well, click your notification. I've been saying it for years. Click your notification. It's all well and good subscribing, but click your notification. And once you do click the notification, then you'll see when new content is ready to be available. Because obviously, content goes up on Patreon first. It's loaded in the background on YouTube, so when it comes up when it comes up to be available to be watched, then you guys will be able to listen to, you'll know, it'll give you a notification within half an hour before the preview going up. It should give you a notification. So sometimes it's long and sometimes I have no time. It isn't like we don't like it. Maybe live preview would be better. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not. The whole point of this is because I'm the only one that doesn't do a live preview. Everybody else does live previews, and this is what the exception of West Ham Fan TV. Everybody else does live previews. I don't do that. It takes too much time, research, and it's the whole point of this is me having live conversations with you, and a preview isn't a live conversation. It's not a preview, it's a discussion. There's two totally different things. I get it, Yusuf, I understand why you're saying it, but that's the reason why, is because I'm not doing anything I'm only keeping it live for where we have conversations. Luke does his live previews, that's fine, it's up to him. Hammers Chat do that as well, fine. It's not, but this isn't the whole point of this channel is the fact that this is done as a TV pro series. So there's live content and there's recorded content like everybody else, but at the same point I try to make this a lot more professional than I used to, and I don't like doing too much live content. You have to have a balance, which is why we do have the recorded previews with the animations in there and everything else, because obviously if you watch further into it, you'll see that I have a Sky Sports style animation of the starting 11 that I want to put out, that I'm hoping that we see as well. I never get it right, but it's personally what I'd like to see. So that doesn't really work when you're doing it on a live basis. It really doesn't, especially bearing in mind that when you use StreamYard, as pretty much everybody does now for live content, it's more down to the fact that it's because you're using it through Chrome. You don't really get that much consistent quality with video, because the audio speeds up and slows down, and it's just not right. It just doesn't work, which is the other reason why I do it. I need to do it purely as a recorded content. But yeah, so yeah. Is there anyone else there? But as I say, Yusuf, I get it. Sometimes you don't have any time. That's fine. They're there 2 days in advance. If you have 5 or 10 minutes spare, go and watch them. Don't get me wrong, the preview for the West Brom game is the highest previews I've had for a long time. It's number 1 in the last 4 weeks, over the last 4 weeks for watch times and views and likes and everything. So guys, thank you very, very much for that. Obviously got it out at just the right time, but here we go. So in a minute the team sheets are going to be out, so we'll talk about those as when they come up. But before we do that, I just want to also just talk about Paul Konchesky is now the assistant manager of the West Ham women's football team. I absolutely love this idea. It's brilliant. It's always good to see players that we used to idolise going into work for the club. Absolutely, I genuinely can't get over how much of a good idea this is. I really, really can't. But the team sheet is about to come out. So give me your thoughts on Paul Konchesky being the assistant manager for the women's team at that point, guys. Let me know just as we wait for the team sheets to come out. It should be any second now, literally. Paul Konchesky is a lovely, lovely bloke. He was at the West Ham Way event before lockdown, a few months before lockdown, and one of the funniest things he said before the Q&A started, he literally grabbed the microphone and he said, before anybody asks, yes, I did mean that goal. That was a goal that was meant as a goal in the FA Cup final in 2006 against Liverpool. He did genuinely mean that. Whether or not in that is true is another matter. But yeah, personally, I still don't think that was. I think that was a cross. I don't think that was a goal. Right, team sheets are in. Youssef, Benzema being called up for France. Yes, alright, it's a big thing, but it's not really important from our perspective. Team sheets are in. So let me see if I can find the graphic for it. Where are we? don't think I've got it actually. All the stuff I've prepared. There we go. All right, West Brom team sheets. All right, so we'll obviously talk about this in the watch along as well, for that matter. But we have Fabianski in goal, usually. Sufal, Dawson, Ogbonna, Creswell, and Rice making up the back line. So it looks like it's 3 at the back. Rice, Souček, Fornals, Benrahma, Lingard, and Antonio. So it's looking like a 3-5-2-1. 1-2, I should say, possibly. Where are we? 3-5-2-1. Yeah, 3-5-1-2. Yeah, 3-5-1-2 on that. On the bench is Randolph, Diop, Fredericks, Johnson, Balbuena, Noble, Bowen, Yarmolenko, and Odebeku. It's literally just broken now. Give me your thoughts on that, guys. I'm very, very impressed with that team sheet. Very, very impressed with that. I really like the look of that. Really like the look of that. Ben, welcome, hello, mate. Says, yep, looks like a strong side. Absolutely agree. Just for balance, let's get the team sheet up for West Brom as well. Now the team sheet for West Brom is Johnston and goal, no surprises there. Furlong, Ajayi, Bartley and Townsend, so making up a back 4. Phillips, Gallagher, Yokusu and Maitland-Niles, with Costa Pereira sitting behind Robson Kanu. That's a very, very strong side. That's not bad. I said in the preview that West Brom aren't going to go out on a whimper, and that's certainly the case. Maitland-Niles scored a beautiful goal in the previous game. Absolutely brilliant goal. Incredible. The substitutes are Robinson, Diangana, Diagne, Peltier, Button, O'Shea, Grant, Garner, Hickman and King. So that's very, very good. So guys, come on, give me your thoughts. Ken, are you still here? Give me your thoughts on both team sheets. Anybody else? I mean, obviously, everybody's not. We're not going to have a very long chat tonight for obvious reasons, because we've got the game coming straight up, and because there's games on. There's not the usual. We normally have 4 times as much people watching as we generally are at the minute. But yeah, very, very impressed with that. Very impressed with that. So let's jump back straight into the other topics while we're here. So this is a big thing from a footballing perspective. Roy Hodgson is to leave Palace officially after tonight's game against Arsenal. As far as the home ground, because it will be, as of Monday morning, he will no longer be a Crystal Palace side. Kent says, I'd take Oakley at West Ham and Pereira, both top players. I'm happy with our team. Cool. Good. But yeah, Roy Hodgson is stepping down at the end of this season, and there's very, very heavy links now to Frank Lampard Jr. becoming Palace manager. There's a lot. Those rumours are really, really starting to gather pace as it stands at the minute, and it's understandable to a degree. But yeah, very, very big. Hodgson says he's not going to be managing anymore in the Premier League, which implies that he could go abroad, both at a domestic level. He could manage in the Championship, for that matter. He could manage down in the Championship. He could go to Scotland. He could go to because Celtic are looking for a manager, last I heard, unless things have changed. So it's going to be interesting. It's an interesting thing. Very, very interesting thing on this. So let us know what you're thinking on this, guys. So it's a real shame that we've got so little people in here. Really is a shame. And more specifically, of course, referee Lee Mason has now retired. He's officially retired. His last game was last night, the Man United game last night, and we are no longer going to see him in the Premier League or anywhere else for that matter, including the Euros. Ben Davis has said he's had a good career. I'm guessing he's talking about Hodgson. Because I gave you guys a couple of minutes to get the comments in, but they don't seem to be coming through quick enough for some random reason. Yeah, he's talking about Hodgson. Says, despite what happened with England, absolutely agreed, Ben. You know, Hodgson took Fulham to the Europa League final. Had a very very tough job, tough job even up at Liverpool, and as Kent's saying now, tough job for whoever replaces Roy at Palace. He's done a fantastic job at Palace. Palace have got a bundle out of a contract. Got a bundle of players. That's what he's referring to, that are out of contract. Yeah, it's going to be a really. It looks like it's going to be a real clean sweep for Palace. So going back to Lee Mason, very good for him. You know, he's come under a lot of criticism over the last few years. No more than any other referee, to be fair. You know, no more than anybody else. But you know, it's his time. It's his time. He's been there for 15 years, if I remember correctly. Let me just double check the article that I was reading this morning. Yeah, 15 years, and has refereed 287 top flight matches, and has officiated in over 500 professional matches. He's been appointed as an assistant referee in the Premier League from 2000 to 2002. Mason was given the opportunity to referee in the top flight 4 years later, and has maintained his position as a select group referee ever since. So it'd be interesting. Rick, get your badges done, mate. Make sure you get yourself up to speed, because there's a vacancy going in the Premier League. There's going in the FA now for a new referee. It'd be interesting to see if we're gonna see a new face. Very interesting if we're going to see a new face. There's only 2 people here. Come on, share this video, share it, like it. More likes this gets both out of you if you haven't already, because we've got four likes out of this as it stands. But yeah, it's just anyway, so guys, it would be nice if we can try and get more people involved in this conversation, because I'm talking to myself at the moment pretty much, and it's a real shame. Let's try and get some more people involved in this, guys. There's 4 people watching as it stands at the minute. I mean, the count will update itself at the minute. Now it's down to 3. So come on, guys, let's talk about things. I don't understand. Anyway, I just don't get it. I really don't understand why this happens. Especially bearing in mind there's a lot to talk about as well. It's not like I haven't letting you guys know either, for that matter. So, a petition calling for an independent regulator in English football has passed 100,000 signatures. 100,000 people have signed that, and it's been backed by Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, Rio Ferdinand, Gary Lineker, and also journalists as well, for that matter, have been really heavily petitioning this, obviously since the European Super League stuff came in a few weeks ago. It was almost a month ago now. It's almost a month ago. The letter there's been an open letter from them all confirming things. It says, as football fans, we are appalled by the attempt to set up a European Super League. It was a direct threat to the integrity of the game, destroying the concept of sporting merit and open competition. Supporters came together with one voice to oppose the cynical power grab by a group of wealthy owners. The furious protests were heard and the breakaway fell apart. Now we must make sure this never happens again. Without swift and direct intervention, the return of a European Super League will be a constant threat. It says, we welcome the fan-led government review of the game and hope it leads to lasting change on an array of important concerns, including coordinated strategies to deal with racism, supporters' representation within clubs, the LGBTQ issues, ticket costs, and the distribution of income. Blah blah blah. Yeah, the usual sort of rhetoric, really, to be honest with you. But I'm very glad that this is gathering some real pace. I genuinely am glad this is gathering real pace. Because at the end of the day, guys, you know, it's been a long time coming. Should have been regulated a good few years ago, if I'm completely honest with you. Really should have been regulated a long time ago. But as always, guys, give me your thoughts on this. All the 5 of you that are currently watching, it'd be nice to try and get some more engagement going on. Let me know if you're getting any buffering as well for that, guys, because for some reason I'm still getting errors messages coming up Ben says, I'd like to see it happen. We can't let a European Super League potentially happen again. Fans need more of an input with their clubs. They do, Ben. You're absolutely spot on with that, mate. And that comes in quite nicely with the next topic we're gonna talk about, which is Hammers United fan poll statement. Very interesting read when this went up, because they go into quite a lot of detail. You can find the information on Knees Up Mother Brown, of course, as we always can. They're going on about, they're basically saying this, the key principles of the Hammers United are 6 principles for building supporter engagement: responsibility and trust. Aslan, welcome. Hello, mate. Shared a link on Twitter. Thank you very much. Identity and heritage, stadium and experience, community and supporters, service and loyalty, and engagement and communication. Now, what this is that West Ham supporters value their connection to their club, everything about the supporter experience, a level of effort from the players, and a respect for all domestic competitions. They want owners that they can trust to run their club properly, owners who will uphold its reputation, and owners who will be accountable to supporters. Also, that's the responsibility of trust. It says identity and heritage. The identity of a football club is rooted in its heritage and history. This is cherished by supporters. Supporters love to share memories of players they watched and the family they watched them with. They love to reminisce about the badges and the colours they wore. Every element of pride should be respected and preserved. The identity of a club needs to be defined from these experiences, and the culture needs to be celebrated. Supporters should be able to live and breathe this identity, and their club should do the same. West Ham supporters value our crest, our home, our history, and our heroes. The heritage allows us to understand our culture and develop it by building upon what is considered to be important as we evolve. The stadium experience. A stadium is where the supporters come together to share their passion, express their emotions, and enjoy the match day experience. Our home ground should affect our identity and culture. It should celebrate our history and heritage. It should be intimate and atmospheric. It should be inspiring and intimidating. It should be a place we are proud to call our home. It should be a football stadium fit for purpose, and should be something we admire, and it should be ours. West Ham supporters create the atmosphere, but a stadium amplifies and accentuates it. The proximity of the supporters to the pitch, the connection between sections of the ground, the enclosed nature of a stadium, and the groups of supporters who have forged relationships over the years allow a stadium to enhance an atmosphere. Absolutely spot on. And as we know, guys, the north and the south banks, or the south and the north banks now, technically, because the stadium faces the other way now, have been brought closer to the pitch. Be interesting to see who's going to the game on Sunday, to let us, if anybody's sitting within those two tiers, to see if that makes any difference. It's a shame that the West and the East Stand can't go. It's a shame that the West and the East Stand can't go down the same sort of line. Apologies for the stammering here, guys. It seems to be more from Streamlabs, the app, rather than anything else. Tony, what it's on the screen, what we're talking about, mate. This is why it's up here. I'm reading through the statement of it as well. Community and supporters. A football club should be a focal point. It must be a source of pride and prosperity for its local community. A football club is in a privileged position to serve its supporters and its local community. In protecting and delivering an authentic experience by supporting the local community, a club will in turn serve its wider community of supporters. Supporters want to see local businesses thrive and local people offered opportunities. Supporters want everyone in the local community to be part of their club and to be proud of its tradition. West Ham supporters, wherever they're from, value East London and the people who call it home. Local sellers should be encouraged to trade on a match day, while local people should be encouraged to come to work as a club, come to work at a club, and a local area should thrive. And again, I can't argue with any side of that. The only problem with that statement is the fact the amount of ground rent that you've got to pay at Stratford is astronomical in comparison to what they had to pay down Green Street. Unbelievable. Same borough, but because it's more chintzy, it's more middle class, it's more money. They're absolutely milking everybody. They genuinely are. Service and loyalty. The supporters should be valued. A supporter's loyalty is unwavering. Supporters follow one team through thick and thin. Clubs should prioritise an appreciation of that loyalty when it comes to operations such as ticketing, transport, stewarding, merchandise and the experience of the travelling fan. A club is nothing without its supporters, as we've all been saying for the last 3 or 4 years, and a club must appreciate that at all times. Supporters simply want to follow their team from near or far. West Ham supporters value ticketing transparency, matchday staff who understand us, and the little touches that cater for people's needs. 100%. A club has a responsibility to truly value a supporter's loyalty beyond simply monetising it for financial gain. Mitchell, welcome. He's saying from a Liverpool perspective, so we have the same problem with FSG. They have copyrighted Liverpool and tried to stop the local merchants selling who have been there for generations. It's despicable, mate. And mate, you're absolutely right. It's exactly the same. You know, Newcastle are going through the same problem and have been for a good few years. The Newcastle club shop was closed a few months ago, which seemed to slip under the radar. Nobody's been talking about it, at least outside the Newcastle fan base, which was ridiculous to say that, the absolute least, which kind of shows why as a fan base we're all sort of very secular into that. But unfortunately, guys, as I've been saying for years, pretty much right from the start of when this channel changed from my personal channel into WHU TV, the format that it is now, we will never see a football club again. We will never see a football club again. Every single club, and I'm not just saying in the Premier League, it's down in the Championship, it's in League 1 and League 2 to a lesser extent. They are all businesses now. They are all businesses. They're not football clubs anymore, as Gio's stickers used to be up before he moved. It is West Ham Football Company Limited. It's not West Ham Football Club anymore. It's West Ham Football Company Limited, or Football Club Limited. It's one of the two. It's a limited basis. It's the whole thing. It's the whole problem with it. And the last part of the 6 principles that Hammers United are putting across, I should say, to the fan base, is engagement and communication. Supporters are emotionally connected to their football club. They are affected by the football, but they are also impacted by the trust in the relationship they have with their club in every other sense. Supporters crave understanding from a single source of truth, and that's what this channel is all about, guys. Is getting to the crux of things, understanding, stripping away all the bullshit that we get to see on a regular basis, and we come in and we actually and just to find out exactly what's being talked about. Supporters deserve respect, not contempt. Consultation with supporters should be open and inclusive. Club communication should be sensitive and transparent, while media with a range of perspectives should be welcomed. A supporters group is a demonstration of unity and a collective voice, and this should be valued and harnessed. West Ham supporters want to be heard. Genuine engagement with supporters groups is vital, and we feel representation at board level is necessary. And again, 100%, 50+1 needs to come into Britain, much less not just the Premier League, but it needs to come into everywhere. It needs to come into Scotland, it needs to come into Wales, and it needs to come into everywhere that is in there. And it's the thing. So yeah, nobody is talking about what I'm talking about. I'm getting no conversation from you guys whatsoever, unfortunately, which is understandable. We've hardly got anybody watching. It's a real shame. But this is what happens sometimes on a football day. So Yusuf, come on, give us your question, mate, before you wrap it up. I mean, I knew it was going to be relatively one-sided tonight, but this is taking the piss. Quite frankly, it really is. I wasn't expecting this in any shape or form. I generally wasn't. So come on, Yusuf, get your question in, mate. You don't type that badly, I'm sure. While we talk about the next topic. Here we go. I knew it wouldn't be relevant to this channel in any shape or form. Is it that both UEFA Champions League and Europa League has English finalists? So if Man U win Europa and either Chelsea or City win, the other doesn't mean that the Champions League 4 points spots will go to other teams like the top 7. It's a little bit different, mate. I know. I'm trying to gauge the question you're asking. You're basically talking about how things are going in terms of table finishes. Brain, I know you're only the reason why you're here because you've got 14 minutes left on the clock, and it must be such a shit game that you want to come and converse with me and try and almost try and wind me up at the same point. It must be that terrible that you're still losing at home to Villa. But basically, Yusuf, it's very because of this what was it, the new Europa Conference League. It's not really. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. Because you'll have your flat four, you'll have your flat. It's very complicated to from this point of view. But in essence, mate, it's not really all that much difference. Okay, mate, cool. But yeah, it's not really going to make all that much difference in terms of who qualifies for where and whatnot, because obviously Man United were out. They didn't get through to the final, so Man United are irrelevant in that question. If Chelsea and City win it, it doesn't really make that much of a difference because City won the League Cup, so their European place is automatically removed anyway. It's a lot of stuff going on, lot of stuff going on at the minute. But yeah, it is hard to quantify from that side of things. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, mate. To be honest with you, because once the season finishes, then yes, we'll be able to talk about things. So guys, come on, give us your thoughts on the Brighton game from Monday night, because Brain's asking about it. That is or Brian, I should say, is asking about it. Personally, it was disappointing to a degree, but at the same, I mean, taking the game in isolation, as we were talking about beforehand, during the game, and I was getting very, very irritated and frustrated with what's going on. Taking the game in isolation, it wasn't the best of performances in any shape or form, shall we say. It was very frustrating to watch. Brighton weren't all that brilliant, but we've got 2 points off Brighton this season. It's not going to be really that difficult to think why on that. Do you know what I mean? Yes, all right. You could argue, and I said at the time, you could argue it's 2 points dropped, but it's what happens when you don't have a centre forward. It's what happens when we've got a lot of games coming up. The usual rhetoric, shall we say? But I was happy with it. We didn't lose. We got a point out of it. I mean, Brighton beat Man City with 10 men yesterday. You've got to put things into perspective here, guys. There is nothing really all that. There's no givens. There is absolutely no givens in the Premier League. There never have been. And even just in football in general, it looks there are no automatic winners. straight away, which is the reason why, again, all this hoo-ha about the European Super League. But as Aslan's been saying, and as I said for the preview for the West Brom game as well, and I said at the time as well, Ben Rama, what a goal for him! He's worked so hard this season, so hard, and it's just, you know, he finally got his goal, and fair play to the boy in order to do that. Really happy for him. I don't think I don't think anybody will ever be unhappy for him with that performance that he put in when he came on as a substitute. Aslan, you're absolutely right. Players looked really fatigued in the Brighton match. Yes, they did. Completely agree with you. You know, it was a hard watch, but an understandable hard watch at the same time. Of course, guys, by all means, please do put your comments in the comment section below, because as I say, there's not enough people watching live to have a proper conversation about it. We're going to be wrapping up in a couple of minutes anyway, because I need to start getting ready for the live watch along, which we'll be doing in literally 15 minutes time, or just over 15 minutes time, I should say. Be live from 8 o'clock. So it'd be nice to try and get some of you guys around here as well. But as I said, you know, Brighton beat Man City 3-2 with 10 men, so it's not really that much of an issue from that point of things. Great to see that Longello has signed a new contract with the club. Let me just put that up there as well, for that matter. Hang on 2 seconds. Where is it? Longello. Yep. The left back, he's signed a new contract with the club. Very happy with that. He's a player that I've mentioned a couple of times beforehand. Nice to see that. He's with the club until 2023. It'd be very nice to see him in pre-season. If there's any games being broadcast for pre-season, then you and I will discuss it live as it happens, as always. Yeah, Brain, mate, I wouldn't bother about watching the Spurs game. You've got 11 minutes to go. I'm not watching the game in any shape or form, but just looking at the results, that does very well for us. It really does very well for us. But yeah, from a Spurs perspective, tough shit, quite frankly. But yeah, very happy that Longello has signed a new deal, and also for that matter. Oh no. Let's see what Aslan's saying before I change the graphics. We'll talk about something else. Hopefully Moyes does enough transfer business this summer to reduce fatigue that affect next season. He needs to give more time to youngsters as well, in his opinion. Yep, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with you, Aslan, mate. 100%, which is why I'm saying I'm hoping we get to see Longello in pre-season. It'd be very nice to see if we can try and get to see him in some form or another. Of course. And the Turkish support, hello, welcome, saying Ben Rama. Just randomly, he hasn't scored, the game hasn't kicked off yet. And Oda, oh no, wrong one, sorry guys. Where is it? So Oda Beku won Premier League 2 Player of the Month for the junior side, shall we say. As great as that is, it's the Premier League 2. It's not really in comparison to the Premier League as we know it. It really isn't. But I really want to see him do something in the next few weeks. It'd be nice to see if we're cruising comfortably tonight. I'd love to see Meepo come off from the bench. I'd absolutely love to see that. It'd be brilliant to see it as well. I know a lot of you guys are hoping to see him as well. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. You know, obviously we saw him a couple of times early in the season, more for the League Cup games than anything else. And of course, but it'd be very good to for his confidence, for that matter, for him to come out as well. And last thing, guys, this is going to be the last point, because we haven't as yet had. We still don't know who's broadcasting what on Sunday. We really don't know yet. It's typical. Every single time this happens, it happened last season as well. They left it really, really late to let everybody know how they were able to watch the games. It's pathetic. But I want to know who you were thinking about. We can have the ref have as a referee for our game, and what channel you'd like to see it on. Would you like to see it on BT? Would you like to see it on Sky? Would you like to see it on the BBC? Or would you like to see it on Amazon? My gut instinct is saying that we're going to see all these games on Amazon. That's on Amazon Prime. That's my gut instinct on it. I'd like a very nice balanced referee, which is just not going to happen as well, unfortunately. But yeah, we will leave it there, guys. Because it's like there's not enough engagement, unfortunately, for us to go any longer. But I need to go anyway because I need to get everything set up for the watch along. So for those that have watched, thank you very, very much for your time. It's always good to see you guys around, and I guess we will. Aslan says Mike Dean. God no, he was all right last night in the Chelsea game. To be fair, bar a couple of things, he did all right, Aslan. But thank you. But guys, thank you very, very much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. Please do come back in 13 minutes time for the watch along, and we'll but in the meantime, guys, look after yourselves. See you soon, and yeah, hopefully next time I see you, we'll have another hopefully we'll have 4 or 6 points. You never know. See you guys. Take care.